Welcome, dear students. Today, we are going to discuss the last topic from the sixth module in Municipal Solid Waste Management. We have been discussing composting, the various methods of composting, etc. So, now we are going to discuss today the anaerobic digestion. So, anaerobic digestion is also known as biomethanation. So, what is anaerobic digestion? You all would be familiar with the term biogas. Some of you might be even using the biogas at home as fuel. So what is biogas and what is anaerobic digestion? So anaerobic, so it means in the absence of air. So anaerobic digestion is actually a natural process that breaks down the organic matter in the absence of oxygen or air in order to release a gas, and this gas we call it as the biogas. And along with the biogas, it also leaves an organic residue which is usually called as the digestate. So biogas, we can say it is a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide and water, and it is mainly used to produce electricity and heat, and also it is used as a natural gas substitute. And then the organic residue that is left, which we call as the digestate, is a nutrient rich byproduct of anaerobic digestion, and this is mainly used as a fertilizer or soil improver. Now, anaerobic digestion is actually the most commonly used method of waste to energy conversion. So, we know that solid waste is converted into energy, or the reuse or it is renewed or reused. So, of all the methods of conversion of waste into energy, anaerobic digestion is actually the most common method. So, here the solid waste with large proportion of organic matter will be subjected to decomposition, and it produces a gaseous mixture which we call as biogas. So biogas is actually a mixture of methane, say up to 50 to 60% of methane, and carbon dioxide. Also it contains various other traces of gases. And then this actually the industrialization of anaerobic decomposition began way back in 1859 for agro based small scale plants, and this the first industrialization actually happened in Bombay, and now China and India are in the front runner in popularizing this technology, and also the US and the European nations have also acknowledged the importance of biogas as a source of renewable energy. Now we can see that there are mainly four steps that are involved in the digestion process or anaerobic digestion process. They are hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis. So we'll see what they are, what each of these processes actually is. So anaerobic digestion, as I told you, that's a four-stage process. So here it consists of hydrolysis, that is a fermentation occurs, that is conversion of the non-soluble organic biomass into a soluble organic compound. Then there is acidification, that is the conversion of these, again the non-soluble will be converted to soluble organic compounds, and then in acidification what happens, the soluble organic compounds will be further converted to volatile fatty acids, etc. And then again this is followed by a conversion of these volatile fatty acids into a final product which is actually methane. So the final product or biogas is actually a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide and other trace gases. As you see here, there are four processes or four phases in this anaerobic digestion process. So first of all, it is hydrolysis. What happens during hydrolysis? So during hydrolysis, it is actually a long chain, that is a long chain organic compounds like the proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates, etc. that are present in the waste, that will be split into more simple organic compounds like amino acids, fatty acids, sugar, etc. And this mainly happens or it occurs through bacterial action. And the most common of these long chain organic compounds like the animal proteins and waste that are obtained from the cattle, the chicken, the pigs, etc. And the byproducts of course beer, then alcohol manufacturing, human and animal sewage, and any other process that releases methane gas. So this process is the hydrolysis process, wherein the long chain organic compounds are split into simpler organic compounds. Now in phase 2, that is acidogenesis. So in this process, the products of hydrolysis, that is after the first phase, the second phase, what happens is the products that are obtained after hydrolysis will be metabolized by acidogenic bacteria, and they are broken down into short chain fatty acids like acetic acid, butyric acid, valeric acid, alcohol, etc. So this is a key component during this phase is actually the concentration of hydrogen, and this is also known as the hydrogen partial pressure. So in this process, that is acidogenesis, there will be concentration of hydrogen, and this is called as hydrogen partial pressure. Now coming to the third phase, that is acetogenesis. So through acetogenesis phase, what happens is that the organic acids and the alcohols that are actually formed in the phase 2, so that will be broken down from the acetogenic bacteria into carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and acetic acid, and these are the main components of the for the production of this end product or the gas, that is biogas. Now coming to the fourth phase, that is methanogenesis. In this phase, the biogas is created actually, and we know that biogas is combustible gas which occurs when methane and carbon dioxide is converted into methanogenic microorganisms. So here again you can see again these processes, hydrolysis. So hydrolysis is actually breakdown of complex insoluble organic matter into simpler sugars, fatty acids. Then you have fatty acids and amino acids. And the second phase, that is acidogenesis, here again further breaking down of the simple organic compounds occurs in this process, that is the second process, acidogenesis. Then you have the third process, namely acetogenesis, and here the volatile matter that is converted into acetic acid, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, etc. And the last process here, that is where the methane gas is liberated or generated. So these are the four stages: hydrolysis, acetogenesis, then you have hydrolysis, you have the second phase, that is acidogenesis, then acetogenesis and methanogenesis, that are involved in the anaerobic digestion of waste. So these are the various phases: hydrolysis, acidogenesis, you have acetogenesis and methanogenesis. So next we'll see what are biogas digesters. So we discussed that biogas is a fuel in the form of in gaseous form, and it is produced by anaerobic decomposition of the biodegradable organic compounds, mainly by the action of bacteria. So this biogas can again be readily pumped to get energy in the form of heat, and the heat may be used wherever heat is required, from simple process like cooking to other commercial purposes like running combustion engine, etc. So biogas digesters. What is biogas digesters? So biogas digester is actually a very simple device where some design criteria is used so as to increase efficiency and productivity. So it's actually a big container where the biodegradable material like the food waste, the grass, the manure, etc. will be fed into in certain quantity and in certain time period. This will be fed into this biogas digester, and the biodigester is actually maintained at some temperature so that there will be healthy bacterial growth, and finally the arrangement is such that the bacteria will digest the waste, and that is why it is called as a digester. So this is since the bacteria will feed upon the waste and produce the combustible gases like methane, carbon dioxide, etc. And this is what led to this term, that is biodigester. And there are some arrangement will be made. There are some arrangements made for this gas to be taken out from the digesters, and they generally classified. These biogas digesters are generally classified into two types. That is, one is the batch type and then you have the continuously fed type of digesters. So batch type digester is actually a type in which the feedstock, that is feeding the waste, feedstock will be loaded into the digester and it will be left there until the anaerobic digestion is complete. Say for after 30 to 60 days, what happens, the waste will be left there to for anaerobic digestion to occur, and then the digestate will be discarded, that is the end product that is obtained. We discuss what is digestate. So this digestate will be discarded and a fresh batch of feedstock will be loaded. So this is called as a batch type of digesters. So the only disadvantage is that in this type usually it requires high labor input, whereas in the continuously fed or the continuous digesters, here the feedstock will be continuously fed into the digester on a daily basis. So continuously there will be feeding of this waste, and as the new feedstock is fed, the digested ones will flow out automatically through an outlet pipe or something where it can be taken out, and it is not that labor intensive, and also the gas production is not interrupted as in the case of a batch type. And most of the digesters or the different types of, we have different types of digesters, so most of these digesters, they operate in the continuous mode. So this is a typical biogas digester. Now coming to the different types, so here this is a batch type and the continuously fed type, or it is also called as a continuous digesters. Now coming to different types of digesters, so these are the various types of digesters commonly used. There's a bag digester, then you have the anaerobic lagoons, the plug flow digesters, complex mix digesters, floating tank digesters, that is also called as a gobar gas plant, and then you have the fixed dome digester, which is also called as a drumless digester. So bag digester is actually the cheapest type of digester, which consists of a long cylindrical plastic bag with an inlet and outlet at the opposite end, and there is again a third opening at the end, and this is mainly for the biogas outlet. Now coming to the anaerobic lagoons are constructed by excavating a trench and then building an embankment or a berm around the top edge, and then it is sealed with impermeable membrane. And another type of anaerobic lagoon called the covered lagoon also has an impermeable cover floating on the manure. So they are very cost effective to build because they are not completely sealed. So this anaerobic lagoon system actually have two lagoons, a primary lagoon which is covered or sealed to trap the biogas, and then you have a secondary lagoon for storing the digestate and the manure. Then you have the plug flow digesters. So these digesters have a horizontal configuration. So waste is added regularly at one end and it overflows at the other end. So they can handle very high solid content of say about 10 to 14%, and they are mainly suitable for farms which collect their manure by scrapping, etc. Then you have the complex mixed digesters. So these are enclosed tanks with mixing systems which can either be by mechanically agitating or then effluent recirculation or biogas recirculation. So they might also have a heating system for heating during the cold weather, and when methane production is very low or nil. So this complete mixed digesters usually can digest manure with solid concentration of 3 to 10%, and they are constructed with coated steel or concrete. So that is a complex mixed digesters. Then coming to the floating tank digesters, which is also called as a gobar gas plant. So this design actually originates from India. This gobar gas plant or the floating tank digester originates from India, and it consists of a gas storage tank that floats in the digester chamber. And this drum was originally made of mild steel, but due to corrosion problems, later it was replaced by fiberglass reinforced plastic. So this tank, actually the tank must be properly anchored in order to prevent it from overtopping due to high gas pressure. So once the gas is released, there even pressure will be there. So in order to prevent the overtopping of the tank, So they are properly anchored to the ground, or to the, it's properly fixed. And the digester chamber can be constructed with bricks or reinforced concrete, etc. The last step, that is a fixed dome digester. So this one actually originated from China, and it consists of an underground digestion chamber built with bricks, and on top of this there is a gas storage concrete dome, and the digestion chamber and the gas storage dome, it actually forms one unit. And fixed dome digesters can last for 20 to 50 years. In fact, the lifespan of this type of digester is too high. So these are the different types of digesters. The figure and the description of these digesters are already given to you all on the Moodle, so you can refer them. So this is all about anaerobic digestion or biomethanation and the different types of digesters.